In the heart of the desert, under a scorching sun and the weight of divine law, a community struggled to maintain its sanctity and order. The ancient Hebrews, wandering through the wilderness, were bound by a set of rules that seemed as harsh as the environment around them. These rules, laid down by God and relayed through Moses, were not just about moral conduct. They were about survival. The very presence of God in their midst, in the form of the tabernacle, meant that every aspect of their lives had to be beyond reproach. The purity of the camp was paramount, and the slightest deviation could be met with dire consequences. The chapter opens with a command to cleanse the camp of those who are unclean. This is not a mere hygiene directive, but a spiritual imperative. The text mentions 3 categories of people who must be sent out: those with skin diseases, those with genital discharges, and those who have come into contact with a corpse. These conditions are not seen as moral failings, but as ritual impurities. In the ancient Near East, such impurities were believed to be contagious, not just physically but spiritually. The presence of these individuals in the camp could defile the sacred space where God dwelled, and thus they had to be removed to protect the community's holiness. The language used to describe this expulsion is stark and unambiguous. The Hebrew word nida, often translated as unclean, carries a sense of being cut off or separated. It is a state of being that is incompatible with the divine presence. The act of sending these individuals out of the camp is not just a practical measure, but a symbolic one. It is a way of maintaining the boundaries between the sacred and the profane, between the holy and the unholy. The community's well-being depends on these boundaries being respected and enforced. The next section of the chapter deals with the issue of trust and guilt. It addresses the scenario where a person, man or woman, commits an offense that betrays the trust of the Lord. This is a serious matter, not just because it is a sin against God, but because it is a sin that affects the community. The Hebrew term mal is used here, which can mean to trespass, to deal treacherously, or to defraud. The emphasis is on the betrayal of trust, particularly when it involves the appropriation of something that belongs to the sanctuary or to another person. This is more than a personal wrong. It is a communal one. The individual who commits such an offense must confess, make restitution, and offer a sacrifice. The restitution is not just the return of the stolen goods, but an additional fine, symbolizing the gravity of the offense. The most intriguing and perhaps the most controversial part of the chapter is the law concerning the wife suspected of adultery. This law, known as the Sotah ritual, is a complex and ritualized trial by ordeal. It is a procedure that is invoked when a husband suspects his wife of infidelity, but has no concrete evidence. The suspicion alone is enough to trigger this ritual. The wife is brought to the priest, who performs a series of symbolic actions. She is made to drink a mixture of holy water and dust from the sanctuary floor, and she is made to take an oath. If she is guilty, the water is supposed to cause her physical harm. If she is innocent, she will be cleared and may even become fertile. This ritual is deeply rooted in the ancient Near Eastern belief in sympathetic magic and the power of curses. The idea is that the guilty will be punished through supernatural means, while the innocent will be vindicated. The ritual itself is a form of trial, but it is also a way of restoring trust and order within the family and the community. The husband, who is described as being overcome by a spirit of jealousy, is given a way to resolve his suspicions. The wife, who is suspected of a grave moral offense, is given a chance to prove her innocence. The priest, as the mediator between God and the people, is the one who conducts the ritual and interprets its results. The law of the Sotah is a reflection of the broader themes of the chapter: the importance of trust, the seriousness of betrayal, and the need for divine intervention in matters of uncertainty. It is a ritual that seeks to restore harmony and order, but it is also a ritual that has been criticized for its apparent bias against women. The wife is the one who undergoes the ordeal, and the husband is the one who initiates it. This has led some to argue that the law is inherently patriarchal and unfair. However, it is also important to understand the law in its historical and cultural context. In a society where evidence of adultery was difficult to obtain, the Sotah ritual provided a way to address the issue of suspicion and jealousy without resorting to more violent or destructive means. In conclusion, the chapter is a testament to the ancient Hebrews' commitment to maintaining the purity and order of their community. The laws and rituals described here are not just about punishment. They are about restoration. They are about creating a space where God can dwell and where the community can thrive. The harshness of the rules is a reflection of the high stakes involved. The wilderness was a place of uncertainty and danger, and the Hebrews needed a set of guidelines to navigate this challenging environment. The chapter ends with a reminder that, in the end, it is the community that must bear the responsibility for its actions. The laws and rituals are tools to help them fulfill that responsibility, to live in a way that honors God and each other.